Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So we're gonna do a little talking about this new mechanic that's in the game. I don't really think the impact right now is the craziest, but it very well could. We are about to get new Supreme Magnificent Battle stages in only a couple of days here. At least two. It's probably only just two new stages against the Family Kamehameha and then against the Bio Broly Trunks and Goten, right? Those are two new stages that are going to be added. I certainly could see the Family Kamehameha being a guaranteed crit and being like a major thing we have to play around. So I think it's a good idea to drop a video discussing exactly how these boss crits work. Now, boss crits are not as powerful as our crits, right? Like, the crits we do are way stronger than what the bosses are doing. Because, like, our crits, for example, completely ignore defense. And it seems like it's going to be different for each character, right? In terms of actually doing these crits, right? All right, so let's just go ahead and take a look. So, okay, here's a good example of footage I got of a character getting slapped by a crit. So here's Beast Gohan on his second turn right here. And then he's going to get supered by Broly right here. Broly, of course, does do guaranteed crits. And then we could take a look. Now, someone said that the super attack, this damage, is about 7.5 million along with that crit effect that Broly has on his super attack. So it can be pretty significant. Now, let's just quickly take a look at what Broly looks like. So remember, Broly gets an extra 200% damage dealt to enemies. He does a 1.5 million super as well. Now, in this run, because it was like a showcase, I intentionally made sure to bring a Gohan or a Goten to get the 150% attack, but I did not bring a Kid Trunks or a Videl. So I wanted max power Broly, right, to see how challenging he could be, for the team and for some of these characters. And it's like, he was able to do 7 million damage. Or, excuse me, no. He was able to do 600k actual damage to Beast Gohan right there, which is a lot. I mean, because this is Beast Gohan right at the start of the fight, right? Like, this is not, intro-less Beast Gohan. So that's huge. Now, there is a second fight that also has crits, right? So we've gotten two fights that have crits right at the start of the celebration. Now, this Gohan fight, unfortunately, is kind of pathetic. This is, I think, a major flaw of this worldwide download celebration, is these bosses are just losers. I mean, this guy's got 100 million HP, 600k normals. This damage is not that much, even with the crit. He has a territory. If you use a domain, you can stun this guy. It's this Gohan is just not a threat whatsoever. And I have not seen his crit. Like, I've never, been cackling, Gohan, you're out of here. And then he supers, and it's like, oh, shit. Like, that's what happened against Broly, but Gohan has not been able to make that happen, right? So, let's take a look at some of the findings of the community, right? Lots and lots of testing of putting different characters in different situations in front of the attacks and see what their findings look like here. So the character's defense is reduced by 30%. The reduction is always a true 30%, not like a regular debuff. It only lasts for the single attack. Yeah, because what happens is the crits for these bosses is specifically just the super. I mean, obviously, like, you see how it's just literally stated like that, though? So, maybe we would fight other bosses in the future where they only crit on normals, but their super is not a crit or something like that. I don't know. Like, they could do stuff. Now, for a lot of this year, bosses would get really nasty when they would super attack, and it wasn't necessarily because the boss would, super with a big damage, but a lot of bosses this year would have super attack effects. Gohan does right here, where, they'll get a super attack effect and increase, and this increases their normal damage. So when you have bosses like Sword of Hope Trunks and Blue Gogeta, who got 100% attack from their super attack effect, after they supered, even tank characters would be dying to the boss's normals. So that was something that you had to respect. Now, for these two bosses in particular that are doing crits, it is just specifically their super attack that is doing the big damage. Alright, so there's that, sure. Damage and type advantage. So it's treated as being super effective. So the boss is hitting 1.5 times harder than without the crit. Okay. And the 1.5 multiplier is there regardless of your unit's typing. So, okay. For a character that's like guarding, I don't think that'll really matter, because I mean it's probably going to be in the thread, but the crits do not affect, you know, like characters that are guarding are still guarding and stuff like that, right? But it's something to keep in mind, you know, whereas normally, you know, this Broly is tech, we come in here with like an int character, I don't know, maybe like the Gammas or something like that, and it's like Broly would be able to do more damage than he naturally would be able to against them. One thing this year is all of the tough bosses, for whatever reason, have been STR. If you go through like the top 10 bosses this year, like it's like 6 of the top 8 are STR. You have Blue Gogeta, Cell Max, Bulma, Goku, and Frieza, just off the top of my head. And those are like, you know, 4 of the top 5 nastiest fights in the game right now. So typing has been a huge deal. So, I mean, if they create like a hardest fight in the game and the boss is like critting or something like that, then typing will play a little bit less of a factor. I mean, a type disadvantage character is probably still going to get walloped, but I mean, you guys get what I'm saying there. All right, so there's that. Okay, guard here. Perfect. Here we go. For only passive guard, you keep the guard multiplier, having the damage you take. Passive guard also has a 0.8 type multiplier, separate from the 1.5 the boss gets, so you'd have that right there. Okay. And then, of course, you know, Chaotic nicely has, you know, got the work right here displayed. Beautiful, beautiful. Only for int characters, reduce your own type multiplier by 0.01 per level. One here by default, 0.8 for guard characters. Does not affect the boss's 1.5 type multiplier. Now, this is... Okay, Chaotic made this before the Gohan fight was out. Yeah, so all of these findings are... Wait, is that true? Is that before the Gohan fight was out? Let me double check that. Yeah, here we go. So the Gohan fight was on the 14th. September 14th right here. And then obviously this was made on the 12th. Okay, yeah, because I mean we're going to get into Luke's tweet as well, but it does seem as though like the defense ignoring aspect of these bosses' crits is potentially going to be different per boss, which is going to be interesting. So each boss's crit might work a little bit differently. Okay. Basically a slight defense ignore, super effective against all types, passive guard, and I don't know what he's referring to by TDB. I mean, damage reduction? Damage reduction does work. The type defense boost. Yeah, okay. So this is the thing that gives you extra defense against true type advantage, right? So like a lot of times when I'm going through my video and I mention, oh, this character has true type advantage, what I'm in truth referring to is the extra defense you get by this. And this is why, you know, sometimes I've been frustrated in videos. So like this right here, again, only works if you have true type advantage. It doesn't actually buff defensive characters that have guard in their passive, like, I don't know, the family Kamehameha Gohan, right? Like, he guards right here, but this does not actually buff his defense unless he's being hit by an AGL character. So many times I've seen like friend units where they're built like that to power up the character's guard, but it doesn't work like that. And then the same in the opposite where, you know, there's the symbol of like, you know, it's Goku flexing or whatever. That gives you extra damage, but only when you have true type advantage attacking over whatever enemy you're attacking, right? Like those are important things to keep in mind there. All right, so then Luke has this. So 1.5 times the boss's stat, reduces defense. Unclear percentage. Broly was 30. Gohan is 20%. So it's probably going to vary per boss in terms of like the actual defensive debuff that the boss is going to hit you with. And then it ignores type, class reductions, except type defense boost. Does not ignore guard and damage reduction. Okay. I actually, so if you do have true type advantage, you are going to be getting a little bit of extra defense then. Okay, so it doesn't ignore true type advantage. All right. Well, I guess in that case, you know, let's say, you know, the hardest boss in the game is going to be Int, you know, Trunks and Goten from the Bio Broly movie. Physical character, because of the, you know, Goku guarding symbol right there, would be able to tank just a little bit slightly better. Well, all right, there we go. I mean, I figured doing a video, just kind of getting like a nice reference point on video, having it right here, could be good. Right now, again, bosses critting is not like the biggest deal. Like, it's not like, oh no, bosses are critting, we're in for trouble. But we never know. I mean, if Goku and Frieza were critting or something like that, like, it would be even scarier because, you know, we do have characters on particular situations, such as Beast Gohan and stuff like that, who can, again, under the right circumstances, tank, you know, the 5 and 6 million super attacks. But, you know, who knows? Boss crits, you know, are a thing. I do think it's good, by the way, that boss crits do not ignore Garden. That would be stupid. It would. I think that would be bad for the game because at that point, I mean, it's like outside of dodge, there will be nothing you can do, and that is not the route they should go down at all, right? Like, a lot of people know me as the dodge guy, sure, but I mean, they don't need to make bosses where it's literally, all right, you dodge or you die on like every single character. That would not be very fun. So let me know what you guys think about the bosses critting. You know, at least they'll kind of trying something a little bit different here. We'll see how big of an impact this is actually going to have once some tougher bosses begin to get crits.